Hey guys, my name is Dov, and today I'm here with a first look at the Empire from the Hunter and the Beast DLC. Today we're going to be taking the Empire in a multiplayer battle against who else but the Beastmen. I mean, obviously Marcus Wolfhart, Beast Hunter, Beastmen, right? Okay. So today I'm going to be playing up against Turin, so definitely got my work cut out for me. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about Mr. Wolfhart himself and what he brings to the table. So you guys may have seen these abilities already, but just to go through them quickly here, he gets faster if you get too close to him with this fleet-footed here. Likewise, he's got this Hunter Snare. It's a hard snare, like you would expect. An area of effect, cannot move, only lasts 11 seconds, but still, having an area of effect is quite nice. He's also got this focused shot. This is essentially a magic missile, only targetable to single entities, but it does more damage the less health they have. So this is something you want to shoot off. Shoot at a unit that has already taken quite a bit of damage to try and finish them off. The Amber Bow is just another magic missile, good at hitting large combatants. Does a lot of damage to large, especially large unarmored targets. Got another new unit from the DLC. This is the Regiment of Renown War Wagons. So the War Wagon is probably my favorite new unit from the DLC. This variant in particular is my absolute favorite. It is a mobile Hellblaster, essentially. The other variants include a mortar, and then the regular variant, which just has dudes like sitting in this little fort with Outrider rifles. We'll talk more about them another time, but for this replay, we've got the Hellblaster here, we've got some Flagellants, State Troop Spearmen as well, some Empire Knights, which I think they gave a visual update to the Empire Knights. It looks really nice. They have a little bit of extra coloring. And we've also got two Huntsmen, wherever they are, up here. These guys have anti-large bows, do quite a bit of missile damage, actually. Very good AP values at 4 AP per shot. Plus 8 bonus versus large on their bows, so definitely quite a good unit, obviously, especially against low armor monsters, which is what the Beastmen bring to the table. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just quickly want to point out as well, Marcus has ridiculously high missile damage, like way higher than any other character in the game. The next highest is Luther Harkon at 450, and Marcus is rocking 556. So very good stuff. Pistoliers mowing down these Ungor herd for the rest of Turin's army. We've got some Gore herds with shields here through the center. Shaman Lord Beast, Morg the Shadow Gave, no surprises. Ungor Raiders, very nice pick as well. And yeah, we've also got plenty of Centaurs and Hounds scattered around the map as well. So we're going to get some aggressive mobile pressure coming in right off the bat. You can see these Harpies moving in, the Hellblaster opening up volleys on the infantry out in the distance. My Turin summoned a Manticore, so I'm going to go ahead and summon a Manticore as well with my Amber Wizard here. These Harpies are just taking an absolute beating, but because this area is all disrupted like this, you can see the Pistoliers and the Huntsmen are having a hard time actually firing. We're going to use one of the snare nets here just to prevent this Manticore from getting its charge off and to basically guarantee that my Manticore will win that engagement. Probably not the best use of that net, I don't know, maybe not, but the Hellblaster is going to be able to somewhat fire here. It does look like it's a little bit obstructed, but here comes the backline pressure from the Beastmen. You can see the Amber Wizard trying to follow up. We're going to get an engagement going here with him, with some Empire Knights and other units, trying to screen these units out from the backline and keep this mobile artillery piece protected. Obviously very important, and it can be used as a chariot as well. If we watch here, it actually does some okay impact damage, and it actually has the mass to plow through, especially light units like Gore herds here. But over here we've got some Empire Knights matched up with Centaurs with great weapons. You saw that that hit there on the Bray Shaman. That was his special ability that does more damage based on how low your health is. Meanwhile, in the backline, we've got this big pitched engagement with these Empire Knights, the Amber Wizard. We've got another Manticore summon as well to drop down in here to try and finish off these Centaurs with great weapons, but you can see the pressure just collapsing from all sides. Got a few infantry kind of here in a supporting position, but yeah, looking rough so far. Marcus is going to be able to extricate himself and get out of that bad situation, but the Black Lions here, this chariot, unfortunately not really able to get into a firing position. Not the best situation there, but we are going to try and get away and see if we can't salvage something. Meanwhile, these Pistoliers are doing a great job chasing routing units. They're chasing these routing Centaurs with great weapons right now, and they should be able to kind of scatter out and start to clean up some of these units out on the periphery. Likewise, the Empire Knights charging through, getting on some of these Ungor Raiders here. They will do a great job, and man, I really do love that new color scheme, I have to say. A big net's going to come in here as Wolfheart again attempts to escape. He's going to be firing into that blob. We do have a Chaos Spawn summon from Morker. All these units trapped up here, and you can see there's some Empire Spearmen that are just absolutely done for. But yeah, in the back, that engagement here, Empire Knights were somewhat able to come away, but the Centaurs with great weapons, we didn't quite finish them off, unfortunately. And now the Manticore and the Amber Wizard having to be used once again to try and bail out these Black Lions here. And they're just about down, barely still holding on with 3 unit models. So we'll see. Things are not looking great at the moment. We do still have a commanding situation with the Pistoliers here, and quite a few Empire Knights online as well. You can see them now charging in here, getting through on those Ungor Raiders. There's a lot of light Beastmen infantry here, so we could potentially get some really good value, but the Black Lions, this mobile artillery piece, is just getting ransacked by the Beastmen. And I was hoping that we could win a decisive enough mobility engagement that I could keep this thing relatively safe. But unfortunately, you know, even though we were winning mobility for the most part, it wasn't great. The Huntsman, who had got caught up in that big melee blob earlier, did get routed off, but you can see they're both now back from routing, which is going to be very critical in this late game situation as I'm trying to bring things back. Balance of power very far out of favor for me at this point, but we do still have plenty of Pistoliers. We still got some Spearmen. I don't know, though. I'm not feeling super great about my chances at this point, mostly just because we've got another Manticore summon here. There's probably another pocket Chaos Spawn summons as well. I mean, granted, we've dealt with most of the Centaurs with great weapons, but my Amber Wizard is also getting very, very low as well, taking a little bit of friendly fire from those Hunters, but the Hunters critically are able to finish off those Centaurs with great weapons. So yeah, it's going to be tough to try and take this one back, but Marcus once again using his net to try and escape and just tie all these units down in this situation, and that also allows the Empire Knights to make sure that they, you know, clean these units up as well, like this routing Bray Shaman, for example. But at the very least, most of the Beastmen units have been cleaned up. You can see there's still a few units floating out here on the periphery. There is still this summoned Spawn and the Manticore as well, but yeah, this summoned Manticore probably not long for this world. We'll see. Looks like a Purple Sun going to be unleashed from the Death Shaman. Very good stuff there. He had just about been finished off by Marcus earlier, but actually came back from out. And you can see both these Huntsmen have got in a position to secure here in the woods and starting to use up quite a bit of their ammo as well. This one has just about got an XP chevron from its work there, but over here, Pistoliers very nicely done, charging into these Centaurs with great weapons, bailing out this Amber Wizard, trying to stay in this game here. You can see the balance power getting very, very close to critical army losses. Yeah, just not a great situation here. These Empire Knights getting terrified away. Thankfully, I think that Manticore summon just dropped, so the Terror just dropped as well. And once the Spawn summons drop, that will also help bring the balance of power back somewhat. But you can see these Pistoliers here just being used to chase off routing units. I'm not sure we have any Empire Knights left. It looks like we might have a handful here. But yeah, at the very least, we can use these Huntsmen to come forward and start to go after those Ungor Raiders. Not necessarily a target that they were meant to shoot at, but still going to be effective. The Ungor Raider fire is actually a danger to Marcus, especially because he only has 50 armor. He is going to sort of side-shot Morker as he's running away, but of course, Morker has very heavy missile resistance, so he is going to be very resistant to those shots. Not so resistant to getting charged by Empire Knights, though. But here's the aimed shot. No, maybe. I thought I heard it go off. He looked like he was doing the wind-up animation, but it doesn't look like he actually was able to pull it off there. But yeah, Marcus getting very low at 300 HP, and this group of Pistoliers has just been commanding the battlefield. All got a ton of kills so far. Going to continue to be super, super useful in this late game here and cleaning up a lot of these very tattered units. You can see the Amber Wizard here critically is still fighting. We finally got that aim shot off on that other Bray Shaman. Did a bit of damage to him. Unfortunately, though, Marcus at 300 HP, his leadership is just so shaky at this point. Not sure I'm going to be able to keep him on the field. We do have some Centaurs coming back as well, but I'm able to just barely intercept them with these Spearmen. You can see just a couple of unit models get caught up there, and that is enough to interrupt. We're likewise going to turn and fire with those Huntsmen onto those Centaurs. Maybe. I thought, maybe not. I don't know. Gorehurt's getting cleaned up by Pistoliers in this kind of tattered late-game situation, and despite the balance of power, all of a sudden I'm feeling okay about my chances to win, as long as we don't hit critical army losses here. But basically my win condition at this point is to keep this Amber Wizard alive. I'm going to throw one Flock of Doom on those Centaurs to try and get rid of them, and then drop down to finish off this Bray Shaman. We get a couple of good attacks there. He gets terrified. That's going to tip the balance of power ever more back in my favor. So we'll see here. We've got some Empire Knights coming back from out. Marcus himself comes back from out with about 300 HP left. And yeah, let's see if he can finish off this Bray Shaman. He's going to maybe take a couple pot shots here, but Bray Shaman does come back from rout. Now, nope, looks like Marcus routed instead. The Amber Wizards here, Empire Knights getting routed off by Morker, but Morker is getting very, very low on HP, and a couple of big attacks from the Griffin could probably finish him off. You see those Centaurs finally shattered there. So now it's just a matter of time. We're going to fast forward a little bit through this late game as there's some Benny Hill action going on. He saw that bow from Marcus. He came back from routing and finished off the Bray Shaman. Now, though, Morker's got his number, and Marcus is like, nope, I'm done now. So he shatters. But we've still got all these Pistoliers, just absolute, heroes of the Empire here. They're going to be charging into Morker in this late game, and that will allow us to force a nice little blob. And with the Amber Wizard cycle charging here, we'll be able to finally bring that balance of power back and finish off Morker here in the jungle. So very well played to turn. Super back and forth battle. I thought for sure I had lost that one. We were going to hit army losses, but just barely able to hold things together. And the Amber Wizard at the end taking the win. So a very fun battle, very close battle, very thematic battle. So huge thanks to Turin for playing that one with me. In terms of the army breakdown here, you can see a lot of heavy lifting was done by those Empire Knights. With the support especially of the Amber Wizard, whether it be on the Griffin or with Manticores, they will beat Centaurs with great weapons very cost effectively with that support. So, that was nice. The Pistoliers did a great job as well, all racking up 60 plus kills, shooting at whatever. All of this stuff was light, so anything was valuable to shoot at. And of course, also being used to chase routing units, Alpha Strike very tattered units. The Black Lions, the Hellblaster War Wagon here. I don't know if I'm super sold in this matchup just because Beastmen are so mobile that even if you do have the tools to win mobility, a lot of the time you're not necessarily going to be able to protect it just because, there's just so much going on, right? So I don't know. I might have to play around with this a little bit more in this matchup and see if it's really viable here, but my thinking is any matchup where you can win mobility decisively, you can take this Hellblaster War Wagon, and if your opponent can't catch it, then you can just run around cackling, blowing up all of their infantry. It works better in theory than in practice. I don't know. Probably going to take some getting used to, but definitely the Empire Knights, 133, 144 XP chevrons to go around, 91 kills on the Flagellants, not bad at all as well. You saw that one Huntsman there, very key in the late game. Despite getting just ripped apart in the early game, they were able to come back and get some good work done. So let's go ahead and go to a second replay because I've got some time here to burn, and I do want to show you guys this one more here. So this time it's going to be Turin taking the Empire, and I am taking the Vampire Coast. And if you're wondering why it's from Turin's perspective, it's because I accidentally deleted the replay for this one. But I wanted to show you the battle anyway because it's another awesome Empire game, and against the Coast, who is, a hated enemy of most people. So here we go. This time we're going to have the generic Huntsman General. So let's go ahead and take a look at what he brings to the table, if I can find him somewhere in here. Here he is. So the Huntsman General. He is kind of like a generic Wolfheart, but he has a fire specialization. So you see here he has this Arrow of Akshi that does fire damage. He has this Hail of Fire, gives reload skill and imbues fire damage to all ranged units within that area of effect. And he also has this, which has to be my favorite ability, Oil Flask. It applies minus 48% speed and plus 50% weakness to fire. So I've done some testing with this already. Me and Turin kind of were playing around with it already, and it is potentially extremely powerful. But it is a bit tricky to use, does have a pretty short range, and sometimes does have a tendency to just miss altogether, which is pretty painful. You only have 3 charges. Likewise with the Arrow of Akshi, you only have 3 charges. As for the rest of the build here, we've got some Huntsmen. In the back, Empire Knights protecting the Black Lions. Once again, this Hellblaster Chariot. Bright Wizard here. And yeah, no surprises there, synergizing with the Kindle Flame and everything, with the Huntsman General. We've got lots of archers and state troops over here, and a couple more Empire Knights, some Flagellants, regular archers. So the archers are basically just dirt cheap ranged units, more or less. They're only 350 points. They do have pretty poor range, missile damage, and basically everything else, but they're only 350 points, right? So you can definitely go super wide like this, even still bringing lots of heavy cavalry. He's got a couple of elite, I guess more mid-tier infantry units. But yeah, and then this massive line of huntsmen as well. So this is just a lot of ranged pressure for the Vampire Coast to have to deal with. Likewise, way over here in the corner, we've got these Deathjacks. So this is the Regiment of Renown unit of archers. They've got stock and snipe. So they're actually a really nice unit for getting into your opponent's backline and shooting their artillery crew if they don't notice. We'll see if that happens to me. But as for my filthy pirates, we've got a bunch of deckhands up front, polearms in the second line. We're going to be led by RNS Assault Spite here. We've got some Mournguls and Night Terrors, 3 Carronades, a Fleet Captain, Lore of Deeps, 2 Scurvy Dogs, and I even brought a Bloated Corpse because they reduced the price from 500 to I think it's like 425 now. So yeah, you can see off the bat we're going to be opening up shots with the Carronades, going after the Empire Knights. Obviously the heavy cavalry are going to be the best targets for us to shoot at, but the huntsmen do come forward, and I'm going to have to be careful. If they get range to actually shoot my artillery crew, that could potentially be bad for me. But let's see here, this Aerovac, she's coming in, maybe. It's quite the high angle of fire. Oh man, and it actually blows up 2 of those artillery pieces. That was a really, really nice little attack there from the Huntsman General. And yeah, you can see the Huntsmen themselves with their anti-large bows are going to do a ton of damage to these low armor Mournguls, despite the Mournguls' missile resistance. So not the best situation for me, but we should be able to kind of push forward and just sustain. You know, Mournguls obviously, once they get into melee, have the hunger ability, so they can regenerate their HP. But yeah, these Empire Knights definitely taking a pounding from my Carronades, which is good. We're able to sort of generate some good value. Yeah, so far so good. These Deathjacks coming forward. Unfortunately, I did not see them coming. You can see they are still hidden. Probably would have ran the Bloated Corpse over there and just blown them up. But anyway, we're going to get kind of a general melee engagement underway here. Empire State troops moving in against these Mournguls and zombies. And yeah, these Night Terrors just going to get absolutely torn to shreds here. Overwhelming archer fire just all across the field. And you can see the Huntsmen all have been juiced up with extra reload skill and fire damage. And just look at how quickly these Night Terrors are just melting away. And this is even a unit that has pretty good missile resistance and everything. 30% missile resistance. They just get absolutely canned. That is a ton of value right out the gates that I just lost out on, so not the best. However, over on this side, we're starting to get some breaks. Some State Troop Swordsmen have broken. We should be able to get through, and the Hounds have been able to get back and get on this unit of Black Lions here, the Hellblaster War Wagon, so this is a great pick for me. It's a ton of army value, but Van Geist Revenge going to go down, just wreck a bunch of those archers, and then we're going to use the Menan's Luck to keep these Empire Knights pinned in place, so that we can kind of try and drag some of them down with halberds. But yeah, you can see the Empire Knights just generally suffering. Unfortunately, though, the Huntsmen and the Archers are going to be a pretty big danger to me. These zombies are pretty slow and can't really catch up to them, so Turin is going to be able to kite me pretty effectively here if he chooses to do so. But the Black Lion's going to get chased off by these Scurvy Dogs without having got a single kill. Maybe a couple kills there, but that's really rough situation for the Empire. Definitely a very high value unit. I think it's 1,800 points if I remember right. But yeah, I've got some Empire Knights kind of chilling in this area as well. The Bright Wizard perfectly healthy, and the Huntsman General himself also. But we'll see. You can see the Fleet Captain here coming forward. Oh, here comes the Bloated Corpse. Oh man, just rips apart what's left of those Empire Knights. Does quite a bit of friendly damage as well to those 2 units of zombies, but hey, I mean, they're 2 units of zombies, and it was worth it. It actually routed off those swordsmen as well, so I think that's pretty well worth it. But yeah, we've got these archers here shooting at the Fleet Captain. They won't do a whole lot, but this, on the other hand, will. All of these anti-large bows shooting in, and you see the weakness to fire got popped there, so if we go ahead and have a look, the oil slick is applicable here. 50% weakness to fire, and so if he pops that reload skill, that hail of fire there, all of these guys are going to be getting a 50% damage buff against that Fleet Captain, so just a really bad situation for me. I'm going to try and throw down one more Van Geist Revenge to see if we can't clear it out, but Turin mostly going to go ahead and dodge that one. Those Empire Knights might take a couple of those shots, but yeah, it looks like it might have actually hit some of those archers as well, but yeah, not really clearing out these Huntsmen like I needed it to, and immediately once they start to turn and fire, it's just, you know, death incoming for this Fleet Captain here. Obviously, Aranessa doesn't count as large, as she's on foot here, counts as infantry size, but, you know, she doesn't have a whole lot of armor to begin with. Only 20 armor means that she still will take a lot of damage from these bows, so just kind of an uncomfortable situation for me. Meanwhile, out in the open field, you can see the zombies have mostly won out in quite a few different engagements here, but the balance power is just so heavily against me at this point, as, yeah, even the Carronade crew is having to come forward at this point. I didn't really highlight it too much, but I mean, you can see what happened here. The Death Jacks are untouched, alone, and there's a bunch of dead cannon crews everywhere. So yeah, very sneaky stuff there. Empire Knight's going to be collapsing these pole arms, and at this point, it's just a matter of time. Aranessa is going to just about finish off this Huntsman General here. It's very, very close, and he is shooting her point blank in the face. But she's got the Menand's luck to give herself a bit of extra damage resistance. She actually does get the hit that routs him off. Then she herself gets routed off by just overwhelming bow fire. Unfortunately, I had forgotten this group of scurvy dogs up until this point. They absolutely would have been useful, especially when I was pushing forward right here with my two characters in helping to come sweep up a lot of these archers. Did that cost me the game, forgetting about that unit of hounds? Probably. I mean, would I have for sure won the game if I had used those hounds to kind of, just like I'm doing here, chase these ranged units, you know, throughout the course of the battle? It's definitely not a guarantee, but I mean, with how many tattered ranged units there are left, if I had been able to, you know, obviously we might have been able to save the fleet captain, we might have been able to save Aranessa as well, so yeah, pretty painful. This unit of scurvy dogs is still going to come in and do a ton of work in the late game, just to kind of give you an idea of what might have been possible if I had, you know, actually microed them effectively earlier. So maybe could have still won with the build I had, but I really like Turin's build as well. The synergy there with the Huntsman General and the, you know, Lore of Fire as well. You stack that, if you can stack that oil slick thing with Kindle Flame, of course, you'll be getting in the 70s in terms of weakness to fire, and that much of a damage spike is just going to be massive, especially for those anti-large bows. There is still going to be quite a bit of fight left, as these zombies are going to try and continue to finish off the remaining archers and huntsmen and so forth. But yeah, you can see the Empire forces are pretty tattered. Like I said, if I had just remembered that unit of hounds that was sitting in this forest earlier and just cleaned up some of these ranged units more throughout the course of the battle, rather than waiting it all the way until the end, probably would have worked out better. But the Huntsman General going to get chased off the side here, and we're going to fast forward through this late game as these hounds come to try and clean up a few remaining units. Those zombies on the edge of the map are going to push those huntsmen off, but it's just not enough. You can see I'm trying to get an engagement here with the support of these pole arms, but it's just too much at this point. The Death Jacks do have decent enough combat stats that they'll do okay against these hounds, and yeah, we hit critical army losses, and everything disintegrates. So very well played to Turin. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this first look at the Empire. Definitely a lot of fun, and the new units do fill some nice roles for them. It's certainly not as flashy as the Dread Saurian, but personally, I am a huge fan of the War Wagons. You guys will be seeing more of them shortly, but especially this Hellblaster one. I don't think against factions which can shoot back really effectively that it'll be that good of a pick, because it is a pretty big target and it's pretty expensive. So against like Vampire Coast Dwarves, unless you can decisively win the artillery duel, I would say that this is probably a pretty risky pick. There are a number of other matchups, though, where I do think that it's a super, super solid pick if you can win mobility pretty decisively. But for Turin's build here, I mean, Huntsman General did a great job showing off his stuff, buffing up those Huntsmen. The Huntsmen themselves did a great job, you know, mowing down various high-value targets. Great job on the Sigmar Sons and Flagellants in the front line, just killing tons of zombies here. 127 kills on the Death Jacks also. They were absolute MVPs in the back line, taking down those Carronades, just fighting off zombies and everything. So yeah, really nice stuff there. As for my build, you saw 111 kills on that scurvy dog that came out at the end there. Ugh. Honestly, if we had that throughout the course of the battle, maybe things would have turned out a little bit differently, but still, the Night Terrors and the Mournghouls just got absolutely lit up by the Huntsmen. I do think the Huntsmen are going to be a really, really good pick in this matchup, because they'll be very good against both Crabs and Night Terrors, and they can shoot back at zombies relatively effectively. But yeah, from the Vampire Coast perspective, I think that I mean, obviously the Bloated Corpse is not competitive. If I were to have cut this for like another unit of Scurvy Dogs, just for some additional pressure, and obviously to be competitive, you would want lore of vampires rather than lore of deeps, so you can get some extra zombie summons and some heals and everything. So if you were to do those two things, I think all of a sudden this build becomes quite a bit more scary for the Empire to have to deal with. But like I said, I do like Turin's build quite a bit as well. And that's just about time for me today, so thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this first look doublecast at the new Empire stuff. I know I'm loving it. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm having a great time with the new stuff, so really looking forward to bringing you more content. Stay tuned for more. If you do want that, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so when I do upload, you won't miss it. If you want to support me in a more personal way, be sure to check out the Patreon page or become a channel member here on YouTube. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.